Johnson, Chapter 5, The Misdirection of Everyday Dialect. In this chapter, it is the intention of Johnston to convey to the student of behaviorism the significance of being able to speak the language. He notes that it is a difference between knowledge and understanding. He states that knowledge seems to be a thing, something we know, display, or possess. This behavior, he acknowledges, is mentalistic in thinking. As discussed in previous chapters, mentalism refers to an inner dimension and is different from the behavioral dimension. Rather than taking knowledge and knowing as a way of explaining behavior, behavior analysts instead consider the circumstances that generate verbal behavior involved in these terms. This is a problem that many practitioners of ABA face. This chapter is about breaking down what we know prior to this course and what we will learn. The author goes on to explain that behavior does not reside anywhere when it is not occurring. By explaining this, he states that behavior occurs from moment to moment as the interface changes. An example would be that not because someone talks about a particular product, for example, firearms, means that they are familiar with them or have fired one. The expectation, however, of the person they are speaking to would be that they have some knowledge until they are proven wrong by further questioning. Reinforcement history also has an impact on a person's knowledge. This knowledge is impacted by the specific stimulus conditions occurring at the time. When we talk about knowledge in terms of the preposition to and the prepositional phrase in order to, we are making an implicit explanation in terms of a yet unrealized outcome. This process is referred to as teleological and is particularly problematic for the behavioral scientists. It is mentalistic in its thought process and invokes ideas such as trying, expecting, or intending to explain why a behavior is occurring. Looking for something may seem to be directed by the future, but it is controlled by our past. We talk about purpose as a cause of behavior, as a self-report, and may only involve its function. The author encourages that as we learn the language of behaviorists, translate what we normally say using colloquial language, that foreign tongue we now know. Deprivation is another topic which is discussed and seems akin to the topic at hand. Johnson refers to this when talking about problem solving. The word used here is not inferred in the standard way of the daily language, but can be reasoned in a similar fashion. He proposes that if we face a problem such as being thirsty, a condition of deprivation, if we have no way to get water, the author also notes that our behavior over time can be shaped by rules and consequences. This resulting behavior is referred to as being contingency shaped. I think the most reinforcing point from this chapter was that it followed a conversation that I had on Saturday with the professor about this very topic. It is amazing how the very words we normally used in our everyday language can now seem redundant. We know exactly what we mean to say, but we just need to find the correct behavioral words to use and stop speaking and thinking mentally. Questions. On page 99 to 100, the author tells a story of a college student talking to her professor about her difficulty with the behavioral terminology. On page 100, Johnson states, "One common distinction is about knowing how and knowing about. Provide a scenario in which you are telling someone about this difference in someone's knowledge of a topic using behavioral terminology."